So here's the body cam footage. It's been released. Shows not only did it actually happen that there was an assailant who was violently attacking a man, smashing an old man in the head with a hammer, but the police, in many ways, were failing to act upon it in what some might call a justifiable, protect the person being assaulted kind of a way. So yeah, are we done with this? Can we be done with the whole homophobic conspiracy theory? Because it was not true. Everyone knew it wasn't true, but now you have definitive evidence that it wasn't true. I mean, I guess if the person who did the crime himself was like, this is why I did it. It's not because I'm an escort or gay or because I was having gay sex with him. It's because I was trying to kidnap Nancy Pelosi for political reasons because I was radicalized online. Now, I'm not going to keep talking about this story because I particularly love this story. I think it's pretty ridiculous it got to this point, but here we are. If you all don't remember, or if you've already forgotten, because there's so many attacks that seem to be coming from the far right on, the left in a variety of countries, actually. I mean, they range in their ferocity, whether it's, attempted coups in Brazil, or in the case of America, in this case, this is libs versus the right wing. In the case of the Paul Pelosi attacker, someone who was trying to attack Nancy and or kidnap Nancy Pelosi, the writing was really on the wall with this one. This one wasn't a really tough one to debunk in real time. I know, obviously, that you can cast a lot of doubt along the way as to what was taking place, but the fact that a pretty large, if not a lot of the right wing pundit class, including Jimmy Dore and a whole bunch of other people, just ran with a homophobic conspiracy theory and never stopped and thought it was hilarious and awesome and nothing's really changed in front of gay lol kek. You know, that was the kind of shit when I was in high school. That was the thing. I was hoping by this time, years and years and years later, that it's funny because gay lol probably would have evolved into something more sophisticated, let's say, but no, still the same. Funny because gay. So if you don't know, the conspiracy goes like this. Someone who was a leftist, because they did drugs and apparently were not anti-LGBTQ, decided as a Canadian to move to the United States and become an escort, and signed up for an escort service, at which point Paul Pelosi, who may be bisexual or may be gay, could be either, decided while Nancy was out of the house for a little while, he had a short window to contact a escort, a male escort, to have very, very intense sex, which would include perhaps bondage, tying up, and maybe physical assault with weapons consisting of hammers. Something that, the gays are just known to do. And at one point or another, things turned a little too wild, a little too spicy, and that's when the cops showed up because of all the gay noise from the gay stuff they were doing when they were extra gay. Because they were so gay, it became extremely gay, and the whole neighborhood was like, oh, well, the gay is oversaturating, we have to go call the cops to stop the gay. Cops show up, see the gay, arrest the guy, and the guy's like, I was gay all along, and that's the whole mystery, haha. That's one version of it. That's actually a version, as silly as it all sounds, that they all went with, like nonstop, over and over and over. The person in question who attacked Paul Pelosi, he was radicalized online through right-wing rhetoric, both in different forms of content, including the Jimmy Dore show. The Jimmy Dore show was one of the shows that he watched, that he liked. He liked specifically because of their takes on Putin and Ukraine. He made videos about that. He had a very prolific social media presence, in which so we have a lot of information in his own words as to what he thought about a variety of things. He despised the Democrats. He despised Joe Biden. He despised Nancy Pelosi. He thought that they were conspiring, to take down Trump, as well as democracy and the American way and the Constitution, all this kind of stuff. So he was very radicalized. He wanted to kidnap Nancy Pelosi. Once he was arrested, his let's just say testimony, as referred to by the police, admits to all of this that I've just described. And yes, I know the defense comes out. You can't always believe what the police say, Lance. The police, they're known to lie from time to time. What would they not lie here? It's all right. Even if you want to discount everything, You would also have to discount this individual in his own words. You'd have to discount his social media presence. You'd have to discount all of that. At what point is there any evidence whatsoever of this being something homosexual or bisexual? Where's any of that evidence presented in any? Because a surplus of evidence in the opposite direction. The initial person who reported on that something wasn't completely right with what the official story was a local news reporter who since has recanted what they said. Because yes, when a story is breaking and you've got local news on it and they've got to talk continuously, they are known to say things from time to time, especially in this attention economy, that may turn out to not be true. Local news reporters can do that. They retract those statements when they're not true. But that was enough as a launching pad for this whole thing to take off. And then for people to continuously add new things. Even Glenn Greenwald. Glenn Greenwald showed a picture of his house that had the pride flag with the thin blue line in front of it. It was like, oh, there's nothing wrong with asking questions and opposing the official narrative, but the liberal media will castrate you if you attempt to even ask, is this the official story? It's like you're not clever. Being saying it's okay to ask questions, or it's okay to question authority, or it's okay to be a cynic, or it's okay that's not making you some kind of special savant in this field. You're not an expert. You're not all of a sudden ascending to a new plane of journalism by being like, hey, unlike my contemporaries, I question narratives. Yeah, no, they accept the official story like slop, just fresh slop, just thrown right into their food holes, they just love it, just love the trough. That brings us to Jimmy Dore, who has been downplaying his role in this whole ordeal, as well as the fact that, again, the assailant in question was in part a fan and radicalized by Jimmy Dore. So Jimmy Dore has been doing the Alex Jones thing in this regard, where if Alex Jones, when asked by alleged, I completely forgot that it was Andrew Callahan who's the one who questioned Alex Jones about this. Andrew Callahan, the kind of monster who's been accused by multiple people of everything from sexual coercion to sexual assault to physical assault to grooming. That guy. Either way, so he's interviewing Alex Jones, and he's trying to ask him questions. Do you have any regrets in regards to Sandy Hook? Do you have any regrets in regards to what you did? Do you have any regrets in regards to the effects that it had on the families and the children, anything like that? And Alex Jones does what Alex Jones always does, which is he starts to hyperbolize, exaggerate. He starts to talk and bloviate. He starts to pretend like it's no big deal. He'll be there and he'll be like, oh, well, at the end of the day, I'm terrible. I did everything bad in the world. I'm Hitler. I did 9/11. I invented AIDS. I did it all. I'm the AIDS monkey. He'll do that. And then people watching are like, oh, well, he didn't do some of those things. I know, because it's not physically possible. Haha, he may not have been alive in some of those periods in time. So, yeah, maybe he didn't do the Sandy Hook thing. So it's a common technique. And it's being done right here. It's important context that David DePape was not just radicalized by neo-fascists, which he was, but it was also people like Joe Rogan, Tulsi Gabbard, and Jimmy Dore, who his previously leftist brain gave a pathway to Nazism and murder. This is actually true. Jimmy Dore is a tanky propagandist who would love nothing more. I don't know if I would call him a tanky, what the hell. Love nothing more than to shine Putin's nutsack for eternity. He's a misogynist, angry elf who hates liberals more than Trump and loves Julian Assange more than himself. This feels kind of libby. I'm going to be honest, Jim Stewartson. I'm not completely familiar with your work. Jimmy Dore makes it pretending to be a far-left anti-imperialist when he's really just a Russian bitch. He's got 130,000 subscribers from Peter Thiel, Kremlin propaganda network Rumble alone. He's the red in the Red-Brown Alliance, and the left outside of the horseshoe. Yeah, I feel, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm on board with the Jimmy hate, but I feel, Jim Stewartson, in this regard, that you're, I don't know, leaning a little too heavy into loving in your own word. Sometimes you can tell when authors love their own writing a lot, and it's kind of gross, because you just feel dirty reading it. It's kind of like they're writing their own erotica in real time, because it's just like, I really get off at how smart I am and clever. Whoo, yes, you are a little elf man bitch. That's right. I put that into words. There's my vernacular. Like, oh, that's a little intense. Either way. But anyways, Jimmy says, it's true. I brainwashed Pape into practicing gay hammer sex. Then I engineered a few mass shootings in California over the weekend. They got me. Lol. So this is Jimmy Dore trying to play the whole thing down, you know, being like, yeah, it's no big deal. Nothing troubling. Now, I can't play the entirety of the video. If you want to watch it, you can go to twitter.com/DaveNewWorld_2, because yes, there is footage of a person being struck in the face by a hammer while the police failed to act. The video footage is shocking, obviously, when you watch it, and it's shocking for a variety of reasons. I mean, you know what you're about to see, and then you do see it. You see an old man get hit in the head with a hammer as someone is violently trying to attack him. It's not exactly an easy watch, but yeah, I would simply, if you want to finally put a cork in debunking this fucking nonsense, because, like, again, every step of the way, there was this God of gaps kind of thing, where when you would explain something to the right or to the Jimmy Dores of the internet who love conspiracy theories, well, that's not actually true. It'd be like, well, why is the glass smashed on the outside? It's like, well, that's not exactly what you think it means either. It's like, oh, well, why did the news reporter say this? Okay. So you have to understand, local reporters will retract. Well, why did he have the hammer? Because one of the tools that he was going to use again to kidnap us. Why did Paul Pelosi not say he was being attacked on the 911 call? It's like, oh, well, because he knew the intruder was in the house and probably would have attacked him in that moment if he heard him say that, because he could hear what he was saying. So he was actually trying to use coded. It's actually a pretty common technique that would be done by people who are in positions of power. They've probably been taught that at one point or another by their own security detail. If you are under duress, or you're about, or your life is in danger and it's going to endanger you to make this call, then you'll have to either use coded words, or if it's available in your city, text. You know, but that 911 texts are not available in every area. So yeah, that's also. It's like, but then why gay? What about the gay? They were gay. They were doing gay shit. Why won't they release the body cam footage? They won't release the body cam. No one will release. I remember Charlie Kirk was doing that. He's like, they got nothing to hide. Why won't they release the body cam footage? You know? I'm guessing it's because when you open that body cam footage, you're going to see some gay shit. Yep, maybe penis in the bum. Thinking that might be what's on the body cam footage. Just saying. You know. I've heard that's what they do. Them. So here's the body cam footage. It's been released. Shows not only did it actually happen that there was an assailant who was violently attacking a man, smashing an old man in the head with a hammer, but the police, in many ways, were failing to act upon it in what some might call a justifiable, protect the person being assaulted kind of a way. So yeah, are we done with this? Can we be done with the whole homophobic conspiracy theory? Because it was not true. Everyone knew it wasn't true, but now you have definitive evidence that it wasn't true. I mean, I guess if the person who did the crime himself was like, this is why I did it. It's not because I'm an escort or gay or because I was having gay sex with him. It's because I was trying to kidnap Nancy Pelosi for political reasons, because I was radicalized online. Oh, one other thing. The OPCW releases the third report by the Investigations and Identification Team. Reasonable grounds to identify Syrian Arab forces, air forces, as the perpetrators of the 2018 Douma chemical attack. So I'm expecting to hear Jimmy Dore, Jackson Hinkle, Max Blumenthal, Aaron Matei, the Gray Zone, all of its credibility as anything other than a comedy blog started by misinformed lizards. Gonna issue a retraction, apology, anything related to this. Or maybe you'll wait until another one comes out, until there's even more overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Yes. Oh, yes, but what about the white helmets? I've heard of these white helmets, pray tell. I think it was the rebel forces themselves. No, this must have been ISIL who was doing it. Well, you know, the helicopters and the gas, and does it really fall? Is it viscous? Hard to tell with these things about. Multiple things can be true. I've said this for a while. When it comes to the conflict in Syria, we're talking about an individual who was worried about losing power shortly after the Arab Spring and seeing the uprisings that took place in other countries. Knowing this, a brutal crackdown and a regime of authoritarianism, certainly one in which has been very, very devastating to the people of Syria, began. Now, does that mean that the United States then has the right and or ability to just enter any country it wants whenever it wants and start doing military shit because bad people are there? The same thing applies to Iraq. The same applies to Iran. The same applies to a lot of other countries. If the United States is like, well, there's a bad dude in there, say Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein, he was a bad guy. He was a really, really bad guy. Yes, there's no question. Saddam Hussein was a bad guy, was a bad person. Does that give the United States the right to just be like, all right, so America World Police here, we're going to get in there and we're going to bomb the fuck out of you. Yeah, going to bomb the fuck out of you. It's like, well, when you do campaigns of bombings on cities, even if there is a large populace that has left that city, you're going to kill a lot of kids. A lot of kids are going to die when you bomb the cities, America. Does that give America the right to do that? I would say, personally, and this is just my little feelies, no. No, because there's horrifying and bad people in a lot of countries in the world where there isn't also a geopolitical strategic reason for being there, and I don't see the United States suddenly being like, well, it seems like this warlord is doing some really fucked up stuff in this section of the Congo. It's like, we could go in there. It's like, yes, you could. To help a lot of people, yes, you could. There's not a lot of resources there. No, there's not. No, there's really not. There's not even a lot of geostrategic political gains for us to be there, militaristically, to set up bases. Well, no, but is that the reason you want to go there, or did you want to go there to help the people? Oh, yes, the people. That's yeah, that's what we're all about. The people. Yes, so we love the people. Definitely gonna go there. That's kind of my point here. Is that it doesn't justify the United States just going into sovereign nations and suddenly being like, okay, this person bad, we're going to stop this, blah, blah, blah. That being said, don't lie about this shit, you clown shoes jokers. Like, it makes you look so embarrassingly sad to talk about Bashar al-Assad in a positive light, to talk about that man as if he's somehow wrongly characterized by the rest of the Western media because of imperialism, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, other human beings besides Americans can be bad. Other fucking world leaders, other authoritarian leaders, other people can do bad shit. You got this weird American exceptionalism in the opposite direction, where it's like, only America can do bad things. And it's like, no, my dudes, Bashar al-Assad is really, really fucked up. He is a bad person, okay? There was an organic uprising by the people to try and oppose his authoritarian regime, which was passed down by his daddy, okay? These are not good people. You can call them out. This is horrifying, fucked up shit that is taking place here. Now, this is the third conclusive report that indicates it. Are you still going to be like, well, I don't know. At the end of the day, I mean, I kind of believe like this may have been something that was instigated probably by the CIA. I'm guessing this was probably the CIA that was planting this information, even though these are multiple independent councils now at this point that have actually investigated it and found the same evidence and conclusive summary that yes, that this was. And it's like, well, why would he do that? What? Again, like, it's embarrassing. It genuinely is. It's embarrassing and it's weird. And outside of this niche, this weird niche of the internet where you get to feel like you are smarter than everyone else and you don't have to be a conservative, but you also don't have to be a liberal. You can be this weird third thing where you're mostly a conservative for social issues, but then you're also like America bad. That's kind of it. It's like, hey, I'm basically like a conservative. And it's like, okay, so you don't like the queers. No, I don't. Okay, so you think women should kind of be second-class citizens. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I'm on board with that too. Okay, and then America, greatest country that has ever existed. No, America bad. American imperialism bad. Okay, so that's where we differ. I guess that's it. That's the difference. Yeah, America's bad. It's so bad, it's the only bad thing. In fact, it's exceptional. America, exceptionally bad. Only America can do bad things and has power to do bad things. Only Americans can do bad things. Only American leaders and generals do bad things. That's it, in the entire world. It's like, oh, so you kind of feel like Americans exceptional and the only ones who, oh, I guess we do have a lot in common, you know? Friendship. I'll share this if you want to read it and get into the details. I'm sure you will see a number of Jackson Hinkle videos or a number of, I don't know, whoever else still cares about this kind of stuff, despite the fact that it's continuously being disproven. Again, multiple people can be bad. That doesn't give the United States the right to be able to go around the world as its like police officer, usually for its own intentional wants and or needs. All right.
Do you enjoy the Serfs but prefer not to have to use your eyeballs? Many are saying this. Well, we've got the solution for you. It's the Serf Times in podcast form, available on most major podcasting networks now. If you enjoy it, please consider leaving a good review and feedback because it really helps the show out, apparently, and it's free, just like the podcast.
To our gods, Xander Corvus and Peyton L. Juste, we shall spend many a generations building mighty cathedrals in your honor. To our monarch, Tom Spiker, we are but your oafish jesters, here to offer you a laugh at any opportunity. To our brave knights of the Round Table, Rachel K., Izzy Solidarity, Victoria Bell, Sebastian Demmel, Mark Harmon, Benji Arney, Scary Earth Human, Tony, DM Rivera, Resident Scarecrow, Sir Nickus, Cheryl Alvarez, Ruby Kelly, Brandon, Words Greenwood, Everything Important, Hegbert Celine, Matthew Scarborough, Stellar Vision, Ariane McCarthy, Doug Cady, Daniel Sutton, Jenna Tao, Dark Puppy, Quiet One 85, Anna Loves Riley, Omni, Riley and Anna, Poodlehawk, Multimondi, Trevbot EXE, Brian Ephraim, Anthropophojak, Catherine, Ramon Acosta, Incosin, Ralph Parler, Violent Orchard, Political Puppy, La Media Panza, Todd Buckingham, and Todd Lajeunesse. We salute our valiant heroes off to fight injustice everywhere.